This weekend we have Colby Covington taking on Robbie Lawler. I like this matchup. Interesting dynamics. Colby's been on a roll. Lawler coming off back-to-back losses. Lawler is the underdog at plus 205. Colby's at minus 240, a decent-sized favorite at this moment in time. And this isn't a surprise. I mean, obviously Colby's looked great. 6-fight win streak, impressive performance against RDA. Lawler, on the other hand, the older fighter coming off 2 losses in a row, moved camp, so I see this is a fair betting line. But does Robbie Lawler have value? I guess we'll find out, but let's take a look at the matchup. Colby's strongest asset is his wrestling, so how's Robbie fared against wrestlers in the past? And overall, he's done very well. Positionally, he can escape from bottom or circle out from the fence. He has a good sprawl, doesn't usually get stuck against wrestlers. Ben Askren was able to get him down, take his back. Donald Cerrone, who's not a wrestler but has good grappling, was able to take him down, control him to a degree. Lawler's fights with Johnny Hendricks didn't have a lot of wrestling, but he was able to be controlled long enough on the mat and fence to make the fights really close for the judges both times. Other than that, we'd really have to go back to the Strikeforce days to find more grapplers and wrestlers. Tim Kennedy, Jacare Souza are some of the notable grapplers he's faced. So let's talk about Colby here. I don't see Colby's wrestling as the most threatening thing to Lawler. I think it'll be pressure, pace, being as unpredictable as possible. That'll give Lawler a tough time. And with that comes a wrestling threat, of course. I could see a scenario where Colby implements a different kind of game plan here. And what I mean is Colby could have success with teeps or kicks to the midsection, leg kicks, a lot of movement on the outside. Think along the lines of Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler in the rematch. If Lawler pressures too heavy, Colby does have that opportunity to clinch, turn Robbie against the cage, and begin to neutralize him. And this will keep Colby from getting into brawls in the pocket, which he wants to avoid as much as possible since Robbie thrives there. So I do have some skepticism on how Colby will do against Lawler on the feet if he chooses to engage or is forced to engage. Colby certainly has a lot of speed, volume, decent kicks, but a lot of the time he overextends himself when he's punching, and these are great opportunities for Lawler to counter. Colby also bites on feints a lot, which Robbie can use to set up traps and land his punches. Take for example another southpaw versus southpaw matchup, Colby Covington versus Damian Maia. Maia had great success early in that fight, landing his punches, cutting Colby, sometimes hurting Colby, but Maia's not known for his excellent striking by any means. He has a decent reach, pretty basic with his strikes, but Colby had to figure out how to get by that. And luckily, in classic Maia fashion, he really ended up gassing and Colby was able to outwork him and win, but still, that fight really makes me question Colby's ability to get by a southpaw fighter like Lawler. However, it has been over a year since Colby's last fight, so we will see if he's improved enough to get by Lawler. If ring rust is going to be a factor in this bout, it's really tough to know. I do understand the hype behind Colby. I definitely see some strong paths to victory, playing a smart game plan, wearing down Lawler to secure either a decision or perhaps a submission victory. I believe this is how most people see the fight going down, and I'm certainly convinced of that at times as well. I've struggled with my decision. Personally, for me, what it comes down to is really just the experience Lawler has had and the level of competition he's faced over the years. I can't discount that. Also, I've seen people talk about how Lawler hasn't looked the same since USADA, and honestly, if you look at Lawler in the Askren fight, I don't think I noticed a more focused, a more angry, more jacked Robbie Lawler in quite a while. When he was walking out, you could see his veins popping out. And to me, Lawler has looked good, and I give him a pass in the RDA fight. Obviously, he had a torn ACL. Lawler makes you miss, he makes you pay, he has a good sprawl. I see him finding opportunities against Colby in multiple positions in this fight. We are talking about 5 rounds of opportunities for both guys, and I just haven't seen enough from Colby in certain situations to pick him. So my pick is going to be Robbie Lawler. It was a difficult decision to come to. I haven't settled on a method of victory just yet, but if you want to add me on Verdict MMA and on Twitter, you can certainly see what I decided come fight night. All that information is available in the description. Aside from that, I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoy the fights.